Good evening. Good
Good
evening.
evening,
Well,
Ma. Good evening, sir.
good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome. Shall we give maybe 4 more minutes for others to join us, and then we will kick off, right? It'll be eating into our chit chat time, but that's fine. That's fine. We'll just give another few minutes for others to join us, please. Thank you. And I want to thank you for two things. Thank you for being here. You could have chosen to be anywhere else this Sunday evening. You could have decided to, just chill and relax, or gather energy for the new week. But you've made the time to be here, and I appreciate that. So thank you. Secondly, I want to thank you for your service as parents. Our parenting is an interesting role. Let me just put it like that. Some days are easier than others. Some days stress you, they wear you out. Some days you enjoy those joys, perhaps a cuddle there, your child says something funny, and when you're intentional, you organize those moments, you facilitate those moments. Yeah. But there are times when things just happen. They don't check with you, they don't ask for your permission. Sometimes they just turn your day upside down. And how you approach that, determines how you continue with your day. Some of us would rain rain fire and brimstone, yeah. In some cases we'll just breathe and survive it, but it is hard work being a parent, and I acknowledge that, being a parent myself. So I salute you, and I thank you. If the children have not said thank you recently, I thank you on their behalf for showing up daily for them, for looking after them, for catering to their needs, their physical, emotional, psychological, you know, nutrition needs, even though some of them, they make us feel bad for trying to feed them. I don't know if you have such a child in your house, the kind of children that are picky eaters and would be so selective about what they eat. But thank you. Okay, much appreciation for your service. It's particularly important what you do, because the family is the engine production of society. It's the factory that produces people into society. And so if parents are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, then our future is literally doomed, to be honest. There's no sugarcoating it. But because of parents like you, intentional parents like you, there is hope. There is hope. So thank you. Thank you once again, and welcome. All right, we've done a bit of dancing. We're supposed to be doing some checking in and all of that in the first couple of minutes, but I hope you're doing well. If you want to just put in the chat how you're feeling at this point in time for me, just tell me how you're feeling. If you want to come off mute to say that, that's absolutely fine. But if you want to go in the chat, tell me how you're feeling. And if you just want to take a step further and let me know what your expectations are for this session. Expectation is closely tied to what we get. If we're not expecting it, chances are when we see it, we might not even recognize it. Okay. So I'm asking that you share that with me. If you choose not to share, that's fine. But I want you to expect to get something out of this session. We have 45 minutes booked. I'm willing to take it up to 8 o'clock because of other commitments, but I am sure this will be useful for you. Okay. This will be very useful for you. So let's jump right in, and hopefully other people will catch up with us as we progress. All right. Okay. So I'm not seeing anything in the chat yet, but I hope we're all feeling good. At the very least, we're feeling excited, right? And like I've mentioned, we are expectant. We are expectant. It's a new year. It's a new year. There's a lot locked up in this year for us, and we just have to unravel them one day at a time, especially in the area of our parenting, because like I said earlier, the children will surprise you, but how you meet those surprises is what will determine the outcome that you come away with at the end of the day. All right, so this is our January parenting workshop. We're going to be having a few all through the year, and it's basically a free session just for us to illuminate, because that's the theme for our practice this year. illumination. I strongly believe in the power of information. And I also believe in the information that leads you towards action. But I think it's foundational to have the right information. So we'll be doing a lot of that this year, looking at different areas. I'll be sharing the calendar with us at the end of the session. But today, our first session for this year is crafting your family vision. All right, crafting your family vision. So before I jump into the topic, I just want to introduce myself. Somebody said, "Who are you and why should I listen to you?" So I'm going to clarify that for you now. My name is Deshola Shoson, and I am a parenting coach. I'm a neurolinguistics practitioner. I'm a family systems engineering practitioner. I'm a coaching professional, and I've been doing this for professionally for the upwards of 5 years. Not professionally before I got certifications and training. I've been doing it for close to 10 years, right? Sometimes I go back to my notes. Sometimes I see an article I wrote somewhere and I'm like, gosh, you've been on this journey for a long time. You didn't recognize it because it wasn't formalized, but I've been interested in the core practice of parenting, in what it entails, what it involves, how to make the most of it. And somebody might be wondering, well, why? Why? So I'll share a bit of my story with you. I had quite the challenging experience, my parenting experience, not how I was parented. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. And growing up was mostly unpleasant. Okay, I'm being honest and vulnerable here. It was mostly unpleasant. I look back and you asked me to think of a positive memory, and I will struggle. I will struggle, and I would think and think and think, and I just thought this can't be all there is to it, right? There has to be more. And for me, it was a cautionary tale. This is how I was raised, but am I going to try to do better once I had my own children? And to be honest, initially I was like, I don't think that's for me. All right, having children, I don't think that's meant for me, because my idea of what marriage is, of what being a parent is, or what being parented was at the time was just twisted. But God helped me and set my mind right, met my husband, we started raising our family. And then all those plans began to come together like, girl, what are you going to do? And the thing about living certain experiences, I want to say traumatic, for me it was, for some people it was just unusual, all right? And the way we respond to trauma is different. The way we respond to impulses is different. For another person exposed to the same thing, they come away golden, right? A little bit broken, but not necessarily traumatized. I was proper traumatized. And so I needed to retrace my steps. It was accepting that, yes, things have happened to me. I've experienced a lot, but I needed to recalibrate, as it were. And that's how I found myself in family life space, meeting my mentor and, working with him and starting to support families. So basically, I took my pain and I turned it into purpose. Are there some days that I'm still challenged? Yes, there are days that are still difficult to, and then when you're reflecting and you're like, why am I seeing things from that perspective? And it's just being self-aware enough to say, okay, this is trauma based. All right, so how can you fix it? How can you rewire and retrain and reframe your mind and reframe the events? All right, such that you're in a better place, you're in an empowered state. So that's a bit of my story. Like I said, I've gone through training. My book should be out before the end of the year, and it's taken forever to put together, but it's a book from my heart. And I believe strongly that it would help loads of parents to make sense of their journey, to ensure that their children don't come away the way I have, right? Yes, God has helped me. I've gone through therapy. I'm doing significantly well now. But some people will not get the help that I've gotten. And it will be up to parents who are raising children today to take responsibility for those outcomes. Okay, so that's a little bit about me, about our coaching practice, the Daisy Place UK. It's a family support, family wellness practice, and we have various programs that we support families through. One of them is this, right, that we've put together. There's now Becoming an Ocean Parenting course, which is it holds within a month, every Sunday in the month. So the calendar will tell us more details about that. We have the What Makes My Child Tick program, which is basically a series of assessments. You give us a few details, you fill a few forms, and what happens is we do the assessment and we give you a report. And I've had parents say to me, my goodness, where have you been all this while? If only I knew this, my perception of this child, my handling of this child would have been different. Okay, so it's an enlightening tool. Okay, and it's something that we created at the Daisy Place. We have our family enhancement program, which is where we go through family systems all through the year. It's a year-long thing. And every month we take one family system and we look at your family structure. So it's a bespoke program. We look at your family structure, we look at your family vision that we're dealing with today, and then we help you structure those systems that are unique to your family and unique to your outcome. No two families are exactly alike. We all don't want any the same thing. Somebody said to me, all this work that you're doing, are people really listening? I'm like, well, it's not for everybody, is it? Is everybody going to raise successful, happy, healthy, motivated children? No, that's the truth. That is hard to say, but that is the truth. And it comes with the work that the parent is willing to put into themselves and to put into their parenting. So there's a series of programs. We'll talk more about that later that we can support you with at the Daisy Place. So let's jump into our conversation for today. What is vision and why is it important? Vision is basically what you see. What you see. Vision is what you see. What is the long-term goal? Our ideology at the Daisy Place is about intentional parenting. And basically, it is seeing the end and working towards it from now. So you sit by yourself and you picture your family 30 years from now, your grown children. Who are they? How do they think? How do they behave? How do they process the world around them? What kind of mindset do they have? How educated are they? How do they address others? How do they interact with people? A few parents wait until the child is, and this is something that is unique to my culture. If it's similar to yours, just put yes in the chat for me. When you're getting married, is when your parents come and they want to have serious conversations with you. Like, remember whose child you are. For some people, it's when they go to boarding school. But for those of us who didn't go to boarding school, it was around when we were getting married. They were like, so this is what you do? I mean, all of the crash course, trying to set your sense of identity in 30 to 45 minutes. It is not going to work. For our generation, maybe they got away with it. It's a different ball game now. And that's why we have to do things differently. So why is vision important for you as a parent? Vision is the foundation of your family governance system. Okay, your family governance system encompasses the family vision, the family values. Then you take those values and you create your family creed out of it, which are I am statements, affirmation statements that provide a certain clarity to every member of the family that this is who we are and this is what we are here to do. That sense of purpose alone, just a child having that sense of purpose is enough to see them through life. If you're able to convert them into believers. And that's where the systems come in, the communication system, the family domestic system, the education system. That consistency, teach a child in the way that they should go. When they're grown, they will not depart from it. If it is not systemized, if it is not consistent, the child will just bide their time until they don't have to listen to said parents anymore, and they will walk away. So vision is important for that particular reason, that sense of purpose that it gives everybody. And vision contains and controls you. That governing system applies to everybody. So it's not mommy walking off in one direction and daddy walking off in the other direction. And the children are looking like, first of all, we are confused. These people are saying one thing, but they're doing another. It contains and controls everybody so that you can get that final destination so that it can be achievable for you. So vision creates a sense of purpose. Vision also drives resources. When you have a destination in mind, then you know what you need to pick to get there. Vision clarifies, vision sets apart. If I'm going to say I'm going to I'm trying to look for opposite ends of the UK now. Say I'm going to Dartford. No, that one is not a good example. I don't know my way around the law. So please, can you help me? Give me two opposite ends of the game. All right, so somebody is going to Wales, right? And I'm going down to Margate. I think I've got it. That's fine. Somebody's going to Wales and I'm going to Margate, right? Can we travel together? No, we're not headed in the same direction. So at some point, we're going to have to say, bye, I'll see you later. But when there is no vision, when there is no clear destination in sight, then you might follow the person to some point. Because when there's no destination in sight, everywhere looks like an option. Every road looks like, why not? Somebody says, oh, I'm doing this as a parent now. You should be doing it at home. You collect it, you add it. There's nothing you're comparing it to say, does it tie in with what we're trying to achieve as a family? Or you watch something on the internet. Somebody says, oh, my child washes their clothes by hand at age 5. You go home and you say, young man, it's time. Get washing. You have not factored in your own unique situation. What have you taught that child? And besides, why should a 5-year-old be washing their clothes by hand anyway? Because the destination has not been defined. So vision sets apart, vision separates. Can two walk together except they agree? No. So you know who you are traveling together with. You know who you should be part of a community with. At the same time, you know who you should not. You are clear on who your child should be spending time with. It is vision that gives you the courage to take certain firm decisions. When you know you're raising this certain kind of child and your family is heading in a particular direction, when there is distraction, you can quickly identify it and you can mitigate it. But when there is no vision, every friend is a friend. Your child can take anybody's phone number and they can ring them at any time, right? When there's no vision, when there's no destination, when you don't have a clear picture of where you're headed, every road seems like a good idea. So let me give you four um, reasons, okay? 4 reasons why you need to have a proper family governance system. Number 1, it promotes effective communication and decision making. Again, like I said, it clarifies things to you. When you have defined who you are and where you're headed as a family, your communication is tailored to that journey. So somebody somewhere is not saying something that is, at variance with that. If it happens, you are alert. You are quickly notified that something is not quite right. We need to fix that. The way I describe this, I describe this where children are involved is when you've drawn a line for a child, or say a lane, all right? You've put a lane for a child. When the child steps out of it, which will happen, everybody makes mistakes. They know there is a line to come back to. They know there is a lane to come back to. Is that clear picture that you've given them that convicts the child and says, what I've done is not right. I need to apologize and I need to do better next time. But sometimes I see parents who have not put this lane in place at all. And sometimes they have funny expectations of their children. Don't you know you're supposed to do that? How are they supposed to know? You are not clear. You are not consistent. You are not even mirroring it. You're not putting it in the work. The environment is not reflecting it, but we're expecting them to understand. So when you're making decisions based on a vision, then it is easy. It's not, oh, so what should we now do? If your vision is to raise, for us in our family, we are building creators. So at any point in time, you would find a member of the family creating something, innovating something, right? If I'm going to make a decision that is tied to creativity, for instance, it's a no-brainer, right? I would easily say, this is what we're doing. This will help us get there. Go for it. If it does not tally, I don't need to calculate. There's no permutation. There's no, oh, should we? What do you think? There's no point because it does not match up with the vision. So vision creates that clarity in decision making and in the family communication. Next, vision safeguards the family legacy and values. It safeguards the legacy. When you have a vision and you have that family governance system in place, then you can become a new ancestor. We say in our practice now that parenting has gone beyond just parenting. It is now a case of ancestry. Because every family, like I said, is unique. Yes, you have come from somewhere as an individual. The person you're raising the child with has come from somewhere as an individual. But what you have created as a family is brand new, is a brand new entity. There is a purpose for the existence of that family. And until you are clear on that, you will not be able to sustain that line. There will be no legacy. It would be that you came and you went and that's it. Because there are no systems, because there are no structures. Yeah? So your family legacy will be preserved if you have an intact family governance system in place. Because, like I said, you're able to build those consistent systems. The next thing that it does for you is that it enhances predictable success. Like I said, systems are predictable. Systems don't need you. In fact, to be honest, an effective system does not need you to pray. I'm a Christian, I believe in the power of prayer, but an effective system does not need you to pray. When you're driving on the road, let's use the UK as an example. You're driving on the road and you get to a stop, right? You get to a stop sign. All things being equal, in the next couple of minutes, it should turn green. That is a system. Now, when your light is green, the other side cannot be green at the same time. The other side will show red. That is a system. You don't need to get to that point and say, oh, my Father, my God, please let this light turn green. Even if you pray, it is not going to adjust the timer that's already been set. I promise you that. Your prayer did not change that timer. Your prayer probably will just give you a bit more patience to deal with it. Or maybe if you were running late, can trigger an idea in your mind for you to ring somebody and say, oh, I'm running late, right? Perhaps in your panic, you've forgotten to call the office to say, oh, I'm running late, such and such has happened. If you pray, perhaps the Holy Spirit can remind you and say, you need to call somebody. And then, you're then calm. I've spoken to somebody, it is fine. But it's not your prayer that changed life. That is what systems do for you. So when you put systems in place, the outcome can be predictable. You can have a predictable success when you have systems. And finally, your family governance system with the vision incorporated will determine or promote efficiency in managing the family's resources, in managing the family's wealth, in defining how much wealth the family needs to become everything they need to become. Now, I've said that our family vision is for us to build creators. If you're going to develop creators, then as a parent, you want to have some money to give that child options. All right? The child has innovated, has invented something. There's no inventor that was not backed up by a sponsor. So when you're working hard and you're being diligent and you're saving, it is that vision that is propelling it. When you decide personally, and I decide that, oh, okay, I can't buy Asoebi because I'm thinking of my child's future. My child is an innovator. My child would need me to financially back him when he has an idea that people around are not getting into. If you look at any list of inventors that exist in our time, Bill Gates had his father's support. Elon Musk had his father's support. Anybody who has created anything, I mean, if we look at the African community, Dangote's grandfather was very rich. It was easier for Dangote to become Dangote because he had somebody backing him. So the family wealth will be sensibly managed because there is a vision. Rather than, oh, this is what we're feeling like this year. Let's just go for it. Nobody is thinking long term. So the vision compels you to think of tomorrow, today, and then act in accordance with that picture. Okay? Are we still together? Can I get a thumbs up if I still have your attention? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, sis. Sorry, I'm driving. I'm not able to comment or thumbs up. Sorry. I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I saw a message in the chat that I was cutting out. So I just wanted to check that I still, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Adejoke. Fantastic. All right. So let's move on to this image. that my nieces put together. So I told them a while ago when I was, putting my slides together for this program, that I was talking about vision. Now, these young girls are, Kiki is what, 6, I think, or 7, and Bibi is probably 3. No, Bibi should be about 4 or 5 now. And when I told them I was going to teach about vision, they said to me, dream it, plan it, achieve it. That's what those little girls said to me. And I said, you know what? Can I use this? And I said, okay, Auntie Desho, you can have it. Sister Desho, call me Sister Desho. Okay, Sister Desho, you can use it. I said, are you sure? I will credit it to you that this is what you girls said. And they said yes. And I love the idea. Dream it, see it, plan it, put a system together, and achieve it. I mean, those 2 steps are the ones that you need to do. The achievement will come as a byproduct of what you can see, what you can organize around. The achievement will follow. Like I said, a good system will not even require you to pray. If you now pray, guess what? Guess what? When your prayer meets with the capacity to dream, your mind expands. You're able to see not just through your own eyes. We're teaching systems today, but if you want to add your face to it, the results will be phenomenal. Okay. All right. So we're still on the way to getting to the process. All right. But this is a family meeting structure, right? A vision focused family meeting structure. Now, we recommend hosting family meetings, regular family meetings, official meetings, like that you take minutes and all of that, because your family is important. You have to run your family like an organization if you're going to get the results that you want. Otherwise, it's going to be, winging it, freely doing stuff. Nobody's tracking, nobody's monitoring, nobody's saying, what did we say we're going to do last year? How did we do? How close were we to our goal? What is everybody's role in the grand scheme of things? What do we need to do? How do we need to pull resources together? Okay, so this is a visions-based family meeting model, and it was put together by Praise Forward International. What you want to do in this model is first to schedule a family meeting. Now, this should be a normal occurrence, right? But if you're going to run through the 5-step process of creating your family vision, schedule a family meeting. Then have conversations on individual values and beliefs. You want to check what personalities are. What do we think individually? Sometimes in a session, I would ask a couple separately to write what they see of their family. And then just to create that raw material to put in the vision together, then we will now look at points of alignment. In very, very difficult situations, you don't find points of alignment. And when 2 are working together and they do not align, where is the family headed to? It's worrying, particularly when children are involved. It's just basically concerning. People are going in opposite directions and they go and blame the devil that is responsible. No, it is because you don't have a cohesive destination. So one is speaking French, the other is speaking Spanish. So it's important to reflect on those. Look at your beliefs. Are there points of alignment? To be honest, this is something that people should do before they marry, because crossing that threshold of marriage puts you in a bit of a pickle, especially when you're involved with somebody who is not willing to, interrogate other possibilities. What I said there is another way of saying they don't want to learn. But let's be kind and respectful. They don't want to interrogate other possibilities. This is what I know, and that is what I'm sticking with it. But if you have a vision and you have a destination for yourself, you can find somebody who matches up with that. So my mentor was sharing with us the other day, and he said his courtship with his wife, that they were meetings. It was not ice cream or hanging out or watching movies. That they were business meetings. Like, what are you going to do? This is who I am. What do you think about this? Looking at critical elements of the family unit. What do you think about money? What do you think about in-laws, right? What do you think about who does what in the home? They were having proper meetings. And I can tell you that that man's life is such an inspiration to me. Recently, he was awarded the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award by President Biden on President Biden's last day. When I saw that, I was like, he has put in the work. That man has put in the work. So if he's saying something, then, people better listen. So when you have looked at those individual values and beliefs as well as personalities, identify common themes and priorities, then you want to craft a statement that establishes who you want to be. And then you take it further, how you're going to sustain it. That's where the systems kick in. That's when you take that vision and then you look at the values that would result in that outcome. If you live out those values every day, even you cannot prevent that outcome from happening. All right. You look at how it can be sustained, you build systems around it, then you define and commit to the goals and the strategies that you've come about. So let's move on to the 5-step, something's tickling my nose, I apologize. 5-step process of creating your family vision. Okay. The 5-step process of creating a family vision. So the first thing you want to do is to have an identity. I interact with young people, I coach teenagers and children, and a lot of them have no sense of identity. No wonder they're easily swayed. And like I said earlier, raising a child in this generation, this fully digital generation, this AI, VR, augmented AR reality generation, we need to be on top of our game. You cannot afford to leave anything to chance. Even in previous years, in previous generations, there are cautionary tales everywhere. How not to do this, how not to turn out like that uncle, how not to. But you see, today, the fact that the digital space exists is fantastic. I think AI is an amazing tool, but it can also be a threat where that identity is lacking, where that child does not know who they are by themselves. Remember earlier I talked about being able to convince them to sell the idea so that it's not just what mommy said, it's not just what daddy said, it is now what I believe for myself. You won't always be there. You won't always be there looking over their shoulder. And mistakes can be very costly. One slight misstep, the child is dealing with, all sorts of issues. The trend of mental health problems that exist today alone. I interacted with a child the other day and the child said, I have something disorder. I looked at the child, I'm like, who told you that? What was I asking? Can you please sit here? The child said, no, I can't sit still because I have something disorder. I don't remember what this. And now, this is not me trying to discredit whatever condition the child said. But is there a possibility that it is the world around them that is whispering those things into their ears and they are internalizing it and accepting it as their own? Yes. Some children will say, oh, I have social anxiety. I can't hold down a job. Everybody has social anxiety. We deal with it in various ways. Some of us cannot stand in front of two people to talk. Some people, and they're getting by in life. You don't need to be able to stand up in front of 1,000 people. You just need to be able to do what you need to do to have a successful life. But some young people today are going to fail to launch because of the generation they were born in. So it is our responsibility to tell that child who they are, not to allow the world to condition them. That identity is critical. So in putting together or crafting your family vision, you want to define your identity. Who are you? Put examples on the screen. A team, a tribe, a nation, an empire, a village, whatever you want. Who are you? Then you move on to the identity qualifier. What are you working towards that qualifies that identity? So I'm going to show us a few samples, 2 samples of family visions that would help, drive this point home. What are you working together? What is the goal? Okay? What is the goal? Loving friends, happy, global, whatever. What is it that you're working towards? Remember, you want to be as clear as possible. And then you want to look at the spin. What is your unique selling point? What stands you out? What will make you succeed where other families won't? What will be different about you? These days you hear about some family names and some images pop up in your mind. You hear maybe the Adele case, you think of money. You think of money, you're like, for them, money is literally water. They can do anything that they want with money, right? That might be their unique selling point. Exceeding great wealth. That's fine. That is absolutely fine. What is your unique selling point? What is it that will stand you out? Remember, this is a vision. So it's something that is aspirational. You are working towards it. So what will stand you out? When you are clear on that, then you can begin to stockpile the resources that will make that future achievable. Next, you want to identify your primary target. Who are you sent to? Who is going to be directly impacted? Who are the direct beneficiaries of your family? Because the fact that you exist on this side of eternity means there is a purpose for your existence. I've said this earlier. If you are not impacting anybody, what is the point? If the purpose of a thing is unknown, it will be misused, it will be abused. So what is the purpose? What is the reason? Who are you sent to? If everything goes well, if all of your tribe, your identity qualifier, your spin, if everything comes together, who will be directly affected? Now, in answering that question, you are also determining who is going to pay a heavy price if you don't achieve what you want to achieve, what you are supposed to achieve, what your family unit was created to achieve. And sometimes when people say you're going to give account, some of the kind of questions that we're going to have to answer in heaven, they will be interesting to a lot of people. It's not just about sin. It is about what I sent you to do. Did you do it? Why? Why didn't you do it? Because I'm thinking, God's voice in that situation will probably be mellow, like, really? So why didn't you do what you were supposed to do? There were 5 of you in that family unit. 5 of you. There were 7 of you. There were 4 of you. There were 6 of you. Together, you mean you could not impact the next person? So who is the primary target? And finally, the secondary target. What is the ultimate effect of you achieving that vision? All of these elements will drive you. They will motivate you, right? Even when your children have adopted it as their own, it will keep igniting itself inside of them. I am here for a reason. I talk about young people a lot because, that is where my heart is. And that's why I do what I do. Helping parents figure out what they're supposed to do. Because what they do or don't do will have long-term effects. Any adult around you today that is giving, any discomfort to another person, affecting society negatively, it is the failure of parenting somewhere. The foundation is where the issue is. All right. So that's why I do what I do, to ensure that your children are in a better position at the end of the day. So let's look at those samples. That's the 5-step process. This is being recorded. I'm happy to make the recording available so that you can watch it again and again. All right. So let's look at this sample family vision. It says to build a team of loving friends. So think identity. All right. Identity qualifier of loving friends, and their unique spin is who are free to be themselves. So they're thinking freedom. Who are free to be themselves. Primary beneficiary, raising other winning families. There's an N missing there. Just ignore it. I was probably in a hurry and didn't notice it until now. Raising other winning families. Ultimate effect, transforming society. Simple, to the point. So they're a team. In a team, everybody is important. So there is no ambassador than you. There's no competition in the team. Rather, there's collaboration. So there's a lot that they have put into that idea of teamhood. We're not competing against each other. We treat each other respectfully because we understand that if one person is down, the entire team looks bad. And they've said they are loving friends, right? That is the goal. They want to be loving friends who are free to be themselves, freedom, and directly they're going to impact other winning families. When their team of loving friends who are free to be themselves is fully manifested, they will be raising other winning families, which will then ultimately transform society. Let's look at another example. I think we're doing well for time. So this is our family vision. Our family vision is to build a team of creators. Again, we've adopted team, but our identity qualifier is creators. You would find that in expression in our lives, and it's one of our family values, creativity. In our sense, we are like God. We manifest that character of God by being creators. And for us, we are happy, healthy, and bound together in love. That is our unique selling point. That is our spin. That is what is different about us. So you come into our house, you probably hear music playing. You probably hear laughter, joy. We are intentional about joy. We identify energy shifts in the house such that they are managed very quickly. Yes, the children need to be told of every now and again, but we make those adjustments to ensure that the atmosphere in the house is healthy and happy for everybody concerned. And we are particular about the love that we share. So everything that our interaction with each other is love motivated. Yes, like I said, there is a line and we may stray, but we know exactly where to come back to. So the boys are, quarreling, and you can hear myself and my husband saying something like, is there love in that interaction? Is there love in that conversation? One of our family values is love and forgiveness. We are very big on that. And what is the primary target? To creatively solve problems in service to God and humanity. That's why we're here. That is our purpose for existence. You will find us creatively solving problems in service to God and humanity. That's the ultimate for us. So what is your family vision? If we go back to the steps, what is your identity? What is your identity qualifier? What is your spin? Who are your primary target? And who are the, secondary target, the ultimate effect if everything comes together as planned? So that's the entire process of creating the family vision. I hope this has been useful for somebody. And I really want to ask that you share what you have picked up today, what you have learned today, even if it's one thing. Talk to one person about it. Do you have a family vision? Oh, you don't, but you need to, for the sake of your family, for the reason why you exist, for the sake of your future, for your family legacy. You need to have a family vision. I think you should watch this. And like I said, I'd offer you the link so that you can share the recording, so that you can share it with others. And we can together raise those winning families, contributing something to the life of other people. That's the end of our discussion today. I believe that's been useful for somebody. I'll take questions now. If there are any, does anybody have any questions? Something is not quite clear, you want a clarification or the other, I'll be happy to take questions now. Thank you for confirming that you can hear me. Yes, questions, please. Oh, I must have done a good job. I must have done a good job of explaining such that there are no questions. Everybody is golden. I'm really pleased to hear that. So just to confirm that transfer of knowledge has taken place, does anybody want to tell me their whole take on our discussion today? If you want to do a summary, that's fine. If you want to tell me what it means to you, or let's ask the question this way. If I wasn't here and you wanted to tell me about the conversation we had today, what would you say? Somebody? Ooh, the room is quiet. What is going on? Just one person on behalf of the group. One person to share with us their takeaway today. What are you taking away today? Yes?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, thank you very much. I was a good one, explicit enough. I'm sure that's why we don't have so many questions.
Awesome.
Related at a level that, one could understand and, pick one or two things. Well, for me, if I'm asked or I need to say something about what I've learned this evening, is that family identity is important. No two family would are actually the same. So you must be able to identify who you are, even if it's extended family, such that maybe a cousin's family and your own family, you are actually not the same. Your family unit is different, and you have what you are assigned for, or what you're supposed to do, the impact you're supposed to make. And another thing is your family having a selling point. Now, selling points, like I understood from this platform or from this meeting tonight, is it doesn't have to be something so big. The analogy or the example that was given was like maybe Adeleke, they're rich and all. Yes, that's their selling point. But the selling points can be as little as love,
Yep.
and be as little as giving.
Yep.
That this is what we stand for, this is who we are, this is, and there's a way to get there. You're, as a parent, this is our selling point. But how do we bring our children to that level? How do we ensure that they actually understand that this is it? Like, it's not just going to be verbal. There has to be an action towards it. There has to be a transference of what that selling point is. I think that's what I was able to pick. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Fantastic. I love the way you put that. It can be honor, it can be love, it can be anything. It's up to you. It's up to you. And I love the way you said there has to be that transfer. So there has to be the buy-in of the children. They have to see it as a lifestyle. You do it enough, they believe it, they accept it as their own reality, right? And that's where that legacy comes in. Some people, you visit them before you sit down, they've offered you food. They are so hospitable. They would, that's just something about them. They're so generous and so giving, like you said, right? But it takes a deliberateness about it to transfer it to children. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. If there are no questions, like Oluwadamilola has said, I'm just going to share with us next steps, as it were. This is our calendar for the year. At the Daisy Place, we've just had our January workshop, and February we'll be having the workshop. In March, however, we'll be doing our Becoming an Ocean parenting course, all right? And it will be every Sunday in March between the hours of 7 and 9 p.m. In April, another parenting workshop. May, parenting workshop, and I'll put the topics there. Obviously, these are not set in stone, okay? I've just looked at what can be functional for parents raising children today. But if there's something you would like us to deal with, I'm open to that, okay? I'm open to that, to creating a session that would address that particular need. And then as it continues, June, another Becoming an Ocean parenting course. July, we have the parenting workshop. And we're going to be hosting a conference, parenting conference, in conjunction with my church. We're going to be hosting a parenting conference in August. So that's an in-person event that I would like you to plan to attend. In September, we do another parenting workshop. Then another Becoming an Ocean parenting course in October. And then we do another parenting workshop. And then at the end of the year, we go through a review. So we're measuring, we are tracking. Okay. For you, join our parenting community. We have a WhatsApp group where we share information, and you get to know in advance when things are happening. So if you'd like, I think what I should do now is to post the link to joining the group in the chat, so that you can do that straight away if you're interested. But I think is quite a useful one, joining the parenting group, because like I said, there are in your articles, information, just write-ups. It might be something I see or I've experienced, and I just say that needs to go on the parenting group. I mean, somebody needs to hear that. Somebody needs to read that. And I've had good feedback regarding some of the issues that are posted there, and obviously not just the problems, but the solutions. Okay, so point out the problem and then recommend the solutions. Like I said, the Becoming an Ocean parenting course the next one runs in March. There's the What Makes My Child Tick program. Like I said earlier, is an analysis, okay, of the child's personality, their love language, their learning style. You complete a few assessments, you get a report that clarifies so much, right? Some people, they want to do sessions, but they do just that, and they're like, I don't think we need anything. I think we can work with this. If we run into issues again, we will come back to you. So it's proven really useful. Then there's Family Enhancement Program, which is the family systems implementation, right? We go through that series. We start with your governance system, like we talked about today, move to communication, look at education. We look at your domestic management system. We look at your immigration system, your family wellness system. So we work through those and we tailor it to your unique family situation. And then there's the Evolve Teens coaching that we do. Usually it's a 6-week program, depending on the situation. If it's just, to create a sense of identity for the child, some children just need to have their values developed. They need a better sense of self. Within 6 weeks, we can achieve this. But if we're catering to a specific issue, we might be looking at maybe another 6 weeks, all right? So it might be a 12-week period. Usually it doesn't go beyond that, because I don't like coaching to just keep going and going. It's therapy and counseling that might take a bit of time. But when it is coaching, because coaching is systems based and it's future looking, the impact is felt very quickly. Obviously, the application of coaching and counseling can be different. Okay. And then finally, we have our counseling and coaching for behavior management. We've had cases of children who had issues at school. Perhaps they've behaved in a certain way, and the school has said, go and get help for this child before you bring them back. And they've been referred to us, and God has helped us. All right. I still check up on them every now and again, and they're doing well. They're doing well. So sometimes it's for behavior management. Sometimes it's for other issues. Okay. I like to say I'd prefer we get ahead of issues, which is where that sense of identity, that sense of purpose comes in, that the value system. Once they are in place, the child is less susceptible to environmental influences. And even, like I said, even when they slip, they know where to come back to. So it's just providing that clarity and supporting parents to be able to do that for their child. Thank you. Thank you so much for attending today. Like I said in the beginning, you could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be here. And I appreciate you. Thank you for the work that you do and where your children are concerned. And I will see you at the next workshop. So I said I was going to, oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. I said I was going to post the link. So let me do that now. If you'd like to join the intentional parenting group, hang on a second. Amen. 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 Thank you. My pleasure, sis. Thank you for making the time to attend, even while you were in transit. Thank you. Usually I copy and paste faster than this, but it is what it is. So that's the WhatsApp group link. If you'd like to join, if you'd like to invite people to join, please share. And again, something you've taken away today, tell somebody about it. Let's spread that light and ensure that our future together is secured, because we might all be doing the right thing with our children, doing exactly what they need, raising wholesome, healthy, driven, motivated, successful children. But the truth of the matter is our children will not exist in isolation. So the more children we can carry along on that journey, the more parents we can carry along, the better. All right, the better. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And an amazing week. Thank you. Thank you. I'm clapping back. I'm clapping for you too. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye now.